Hey y'all, AJ Cutler here. Welcome back to the Knack for Adventure YouTube channel. Today's video was prompted from a comment that I got on a YouTube video a couple weeks back, and it was basically asking about the action cameras that we use to film our vlogs, as well as use while biking and skiing and other outdoor adventures. So I thought it'd be great to kind of give an overview of all the cameras we have, including my favorite features and pros and cons, as well as show you a little bit about the editing process. And I want to share some of the footage we got from a day where we took out all of our cameras, got all the angles. So let's get to it. First up, we should talk about what I'm filming on right now. So this is the Sony A74 with a 24 to 70 millimeter Sigma lens on it. And this is pretty much our go-to photo camera. We also have a zoom lens for it. So with this 24 to 70, and then we also have a 100 to 400 millimeter Sigma lens. And with those two lenses, we can kind of get pretty much everything that we want as far as action sports, portraits, all of that. It may not be the top of the line photo camera or the top of the line video camera, but it does both really, really well. And I've definitely been experimenting more with video, filming like inside stuff on it or YouTube outros or intros, and it's worked really well and it's been really fun to experiment. In addition to the camera and lens setup, I also have these Rode mics. Testing. And then I just got like a really basic tripod that I can use indoors, some outside, maybe not in the snow, but it works pretty well. If you're looking to invest into your camera equipment and find something that does both photo and video, highly suggest Sony A74 and the 24 to 70 millimeter lens. So when I've met some other vloggers, I've realized that they usually have like a vlogging specific camera, but I've honestly found that my favorite vlogging camera is the GoPro 10. So I got this GoPro when it first came out, and that was pretty monumental for me because I've always had, you know, the last year's GoPro model. Like once that new one comes out, I just buy the other one cheaper. I was so impressed with the GoPro 10. But yeah, I bought this and now I do vlogs on it. I take pictures with it and I pretty much bring it on any adventure. I would say the main pros include how low profile it is. It's very compact. It's so easy to use. You can edit the quick settings where you can just like press record and it'll always use the same settings, so you never have to worry about it like switching settings on you. It also has a front camera, which makes it great for vlogging. I can easily see myself, make sure I'm in frame. I've also been really impressed with the photos that it's taken. I think it's a great way to take like YouTube thumbnails and other promotional photos. You can take the actual picture or you can also screenshot from a video and it turns out so nice. Like if your lighting and everything looks good, the photo is awesome. I remember one of the first times we took it out when we went biking, and Nick got an awesome like vertical video of me like going down this little chute, and I screenshotted one of the pictures and it looked so good. Like I immediately posted it to my Instagram because it looked so good. So while you can adjust it from like narrow to linear to wide to super wide, the field of view is still pretty limited as opposed to like a 360 cam. You know, there's definitely been some times where it's just been pointed down at like my down tube on my bike or just my skis, and like that's the video you got, you know, like you're gonna have to make something out of it or you're just not gonna be able to use it. There was definitely one time where I was filming a YouTube video and I went and did a lap on a certain trail, and I got back down to the parking lot and I was reviewing the footage, and it was just my down tube the entire way down, just like maybe a little bit glimpse of my handlebars, but like it was not a good view. So I literally went back on the trail and did another lap. I mean, it didn't take super long, but I have had to like reshoot or redo because the view is limited. I will say the battery life is great in summer. I haven't really had a problem unless we're going on like a super long all day ride. But in the winter, the battery life is a little bit lackluster just because of colder temps, and if it's out in the cold and the snow. I know a lot of people also like bring extra batteries to switch out on the hill, so just keep that in mind. Next up, I've got my Insta360 One X2. It is a 360 cam. I got it from Insta360. We did like a social collaboration, and I'm actually so surprised about how much I use this. The biggest pros in comparison to the GoPro 10 especially is that it has like a wider range of view, which is pretty obvious because it's the 360 cam, so you're gonna have all angles. So you can mount it on your helmet or on your chest, and you can still have this like nice wide view. It's like a little bit distorted with the fisheye, but I think it looks awesome. The next pro, which we'll talk a little bit more about in the next segment with editing, Insta360 has a really great deep track feature in their editing app. Definitely makes editing so much easier. Like the GoPro, it is very easy to record. You know, there's a distinct sound when it turns on and starts recording, and then there's a distinct sound when you turn it off. So it's very easy to tell when you're recording, when you're not recording. As for cons, this is a huge like personal preference for me, but I do think that it looks just like a little goofier than the GoPro. So like this is what the GoPro looks like on my helmet, and then this mount is a little bit weirder, but this is like what the Insta360 looks like on my helmet. So like it definitely sticks out a lot more. So if you have a third person filming you, and you have the Insta360 like on your head, for instance, like it just looks a little out there. I kind of joke like I look like a Teletubby or an alien or something, and I really don't mind that much because I like the footage. But if I was filming like a short film or something and needed to have a POV and a third person view, I would most likely go for like the GoPro over the Insta360, just because of the way that it looks like on the skier or on the biker. And it's not like that much higher than the GoPro, but I do feel like at some point like a low branch might accidentally hit it or something. But that's honestly like the only con I really have, because I love the way this takes video. I think the editing process is so easy, and it looks good for both horizontal and vertical videos. So I can use it for YouTube, but I can also use it for Instagram Reels and TikTok. Next up, I have the newest camera to my collection, and that is the GoPro Max 360. I was kind of looking for a replacement for my Insta360 because it did get scratched on both the lenses during biking season. And there are a couple reasons that I chose this over another Insta360 cam. One of them was price. GoPro had just like had a really great sale for the holidays, and some people have predicted that a new 360 cam might be coming out, so they're getting rid of old inventory, something like that. But either way, it was a really great deal. Secondly, GoPro has proven to be a little bit easier to edit, like color grading, things like that. So for like higher quality productions, ski films, things like that, it's a lot easier to play and edit with the color. Whereas like the Insta360 has a better like built-in color grading, so you can like just edit and post super quickly. And the last reason I got the Max over the Insta360 is because I like the look of it more. We will be filming a ski film this winter, and if I want any POV, I'd rather have this on my head than the Insta360 because it's less distracting. It looks a little bit more low profile, and if it's not obvious enough, but like it's the perfect combination between the Insta360 and my GoPro 10. One of the things that maybe isn't the best is the battery life. I know that GoPro has just like struggled with this forever. I don't know, it was good, you know, it lasted not the full day, but almost the full day, maybe about 5 hours. And that was me like taking it off when I wasn't using it, or like putting it in my pocket on the chairlift so it wasn't like out in the cold. I'll go into this a little bit more when we talk about editing, but I do think that the GoPro Max software is a little bit less user-friendly than Insta360. I definitely struggled in the beginning because it is kind of different and I'm used to the Insta360 software. A little bit of a learning curve, but I do think I've gotten better at it, and maybe just with more practice, I'll get better. So those are the 4 cameras that I am usually using when I'm making a YouTube video, but let's kind of talk about how we put those all together. What does the editing process look like? I'm currently editing on my MacBook Pro. I use Premiere, but I'm definitely like always searching for the next best thing. I've heard DaVinci has some good features. You know, if you have a Mac and you don't know where to start, iMovie is a great place. It's very basic, but you know, if you just need to stitch videos together, like it works great. That I've used Splice, but I've just been using Premiere because I use other Adobe services like Lightroom. So for video files, the Sony A74 and GoPro 10, they just kind of come over as like normal video files. On the GoPro 10, I'll usually like brighten and saturate. I'm currently shooting on picture profile 8 on the Sony A74, so I can play around with color. And that's something that's like very new to me. I'm very interested in it. And so I've been trying to learn and experiment. I studied art in college and I find color so fascinating. So that's something that I would like to get better at, but I'm maybe not the best at right now. So if you have any like YouTube videos that you want to share, I would love to hear more. Now for editing the 360 cameras. So the first thing that I do is upload all of the files to my computer and hard drive. For the Insta360, you can actually mass upload. So if you have like 10 files you need to edit, you upload all of them into the Insta360 editing app, and you can just like go down in a list and edit all of them and then export all of them at the same time. One of my favorite things about the Insta360 is the ability to use the deep track feature. And this basically means that you are going to select a subject, whether that's biking or skiing or walking, running, whatever, and it's going to follow that subject and keep that subject in the center of the frame. And it doesn't work perfectly like all the time, but when it works well, it looks so cool. I think it looks like a little video game, and it's kind of nice because like sometimes you don't have to edit the full video. You can just let Deep Track do its thing. Now for editing the GoPro Max 360. So I've heard from a couple of people that they maybe don't like the GoPro editing system as much as the Insta360 system, which I think is kind of fair. The Insta360 one is just a lot more user-friendly, but I will say that after using the GoPro Max pretty consistently the past couple weeks, I've gotten so much better at using it both on my phone and the desktop, and I think it acts like a little bit differently, so it kind of just takes some practice to get used to. Now let's see them in action. So me and Nick went out one day and we brought all of the action cameras so we could get all of the different angles. I even had a new mount that I wanted to try out. So I had the GoPro 10 mounted on my head. Then I had this really funky pole mount for the Insta360, and I mounted it just like at the top of my pole right here, right above my mitten. And then Nick had the GoPro Max mounted on his head. So between these 3 cameras, we got some really fun views and it was really good snow. So let's check those out and I hope you enjoy.
You're going, I'm going. We've got all the angles. Let's do it. Double 360 cam, 720.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out my Instagram and TikTok @AJColor for more skiing videos and content. Thanks so much for watching and keep on crushing. Why does it look like a little dude? What should we name him?